This is for Ireland again, because I suppose if I limit my dialogues and expositions to those things that are Irish, it's not really convenient for Mark van der Waals or Damien Rothschild or whatever it is to put it on his glorious, esteemed Wisdom Star channel. I hope he gets his all to have the Kool-Aid wherever he's taking us. So this is about Wolf Hall. Well, it's not really about Wolf Hall, but it's for Ireland. Wolf Hall, sorry, is a BBC, I think it was BBC production, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. No, people in Ireland probably wouldn't bear to even watch it. But it's another feat of British engineering. It's very difficult to imagine scenes. I've been thinking about this a lot because I've planned a lot of movies. It's very difficult to plan out scenes and to unpack, a historical event. I don't know if it was English, but I saw one on King David or a King David movie the other day, and I nearly got sick after 2 minutes of watching it. It was just the worst thing I'd ever seen in my entire life. I don't know if it's British, but Little King David had a British accent. It was just woeful. But anyway, Wolf Hall is absolutely amazing, and it deals with King Henry VIII and Cromwell. If you say Cromwell around the Irish, it's kind of like saying Hitler to the Jews. Um, Oliver Cromwell was somewhat said to be responsible for the genocide of millions of Irish people. And I'm going to tell you how he did it. Um, but yeah, it's not Oliver Cromwell that's dealt with in Wolf Hall. It's his dad or granddad or somebody. It's Cromwell. I really liked the depiction of Anne Boleyn in that. I actually really liked her. I thought she was great. And Thomas More as well was awesome. Depiction of Thomas More, he was great. We're taking your pens and paper away. You can't stop me. We're going to take your life away. Well, then you definitely won't be able to stop me. He didn't speak that like that, but he was absolutely amazing. In the last 2,000 years. Yeah, Thomas More, rather awesome. So I got a little like on there. Oh no, laser dots. Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, so let's get into this in Wolf Hall. And actually, I wanted to have a little post part, I don't know, about King Henry VIII and revolving birthrights and women and sons, and why Henry VIII really wanted a son and why it's so important. But that can be used by Van der Waals or whatever it is for his little Illuminati page. So sorry about that. You can't have that education. Words in red. It's very sensitive if people take credit for his teachings. In any event, just not to compare myself to our Lord. So anyway, Oliver Cromwell was very well educated, and like his great granddad or his granddad is a bit of a schnick. He was a little inventive in his methods, very inventive in his methods, and he knew very well that the people that knew Jesus, and there's probably Mary Magdalene herself, but mum's the word, you're not even supposed to utter her name, had to run very, 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 very far away and were very, very, very difficult to kill. Peter, Paul, and Mary all had to scatter lads all across the world, and were very difficult to kill. And probably made it out to Hibernia, where she was hidden. Sorry, not she, where this very important figure, the unlawfully wedded wife of our Lord, because Jesus had no interest in marriage. That's the very first thing we see about him in the Gospels, and he was going to get in trouble for it. And because he had to be married, and he was completely rebellious and went against the grain and wasn't married, and despite not being married was able to walk on the water. He didn't sink, so you need a wife to kind of keep you afloat. Boat. No offense on the terminology there, ladies. Yeah, so yeah, and Mary Magdalene probably, or someone of this kind of stature in relation to Christianity, came out to Hibernia, and this is before it was conquested by the Roman Empire, and was the Lady Queen of the Forest. Yep, and was the Lady Queen in the Forest, depicted in many, many, many mythologies. Everything from First Night to Lord of the Rings have a Lady of the Forest. And Ireland is very, very, everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. So the fact that Mary liked Hibernia because they protected her, where most other countries, south of France or whatever, couldn't keep themselves. Like people jumping on Frodo, they get twisted and tormented and just wanted to fornicate with her and abuse her. And the people of Hibernia protected her, and she loved them and was relieved and took great relief that her massive, massive journey, and this endless persecution and this nightmare actually came to an end, and they actually protected her, Ireland. Um, and because Mary Magdalene loved this place so much and appreciated it, we were very loved and protected by our Lord at the right hand of the Father in heaven. Yes, so that's why it was technically impossible to beat the Irish. You'll never beat the Irish, formally, until now. Um, so Cromwell knew this from many conquests and efforts to, uh, you know, dominate Ireland, dominate the entire amount of Hibernia. And they knew it was very difficult to do this. They seemed strangely undefeatable, despite they were just, I don't know, I'm not going to get into it, but like, they had weapons and they had things, but they were strangely undefeatable, due to this holy preference that they had upon them. So Cromwell knew this. Oliver Cromwell knew that Ireland had this holy preference, but Ireland didn't exactly know why they had holy preference, and they were very proud about it. And you'll never beat us, beat the Irish, or they weren't the Irish back then, but So Cromwell knew this, and Cromwell came over like Florida came over to Liberia, or Florida came over to Ireland recently, and they liberated. Oliver Cromwell educated the Irish on how to fornicate and defile infidelity, Christianity, through people like Mary Magdalene. And Paddy, I've already said this in other videos, but just reminds, and Ireland, they all thought it was a great thing. Now, Cromwell just taught them, you know. He just appeared like a merchant in Dundalk region or something like this, traveling salesman. Taught them all a few tricks that I'll tell you. He pretended probably to be a traitor to the crown. I was like, I'll tell you how the English are so powerful, or I'll tell you how the Roman Empire is so powerful. And he educated them on all the weird gypsy techniques of fornicating with mum's the word, you shall not covet wives, and you shall not covet or abuse very special women, hijab and everything like this in Islam. It's very, 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 very detrimental, because you know where this story goes, don't you? Anyway, so he did this. Cromwell went away for about 10, 15 years, and he went off, and he just left that seed there and planted, and it spread throughout Ireland. And most or all of Ireland were then sitting around like the book of Jeremiah, absolute Shemites, and they were fornicating constantly with the unlawfully wedded wife of Jesus, or someone of this important stature. I'm not going to say exactly what, because then you'd go out and do it yourself, wouldn't you? But that's what Cromwell did. Simple and effective method, and they eventually lost the graces of Christianity, that the Lord was protecting them, because they became infidels and abominations, and it broke their heart, and the crying blood, and all of this. And then they didn't even need to be conquered. They just came in and washed them out. It led to that was the conquest technically. And then there was a lot of woe. The men wouldn't listen to the women. They just kept doing it. They were addicted to just fornications and the delicacies of such things. If you read the book of Revelations, again, this is a book of the end of times and things that bring upon the end of times. This is why this is all very sensitive material. And Ireland did that, and they did it for 10, 15 years. And Ireland fell into self-war and famine and death, eventually death. And they did it to themselves through this education that Oliver Cromwell, the crafty Cromwell, Cromwell, very good Cromwell. That's how he defeated the Irish. And you're in year 9 now, and Ireland have been doing the exact same thing that they did for Oliver Cromwell. And you're in year 9, and the IRA, Sinn Féin, our government, and the Rose World have always been doing this. So there's not much Christian preference in, like, I don't know, Denmark or Holland or Norway or Switzerland, or like Florida. All of these people have come over with their anti-Christ techniques, and they've educated the Irish on how to do it. And you've recently lost, because I can destroy countries very easily and effectively if I want to. I can just flick them off the map. But I noticed Ireland was very difficult to harm or smash or destroy. The Northern Ireland, or north of Ireland, wasn't. You even saw a storm that came through, a devastating storm, and it just seemed to strip the whole Northern Ireland, north of Ireland, it's a different country to the south of Ireland, and then hit Holland, hit into the Netherlands, and completely just went around Ireland for some reason. Anyway, you have recently lost this, believe me, because you are very destroyable now. I can, like Elijah or our Lord Jesus Christ, destroy Ireland very easily now. So I'm just like, no, it's been year 9 now. These are in year 9, and you have been doing exactly what you have been doing. Well done, Paddy. Thinking these are deadly, thinking these are new royalty, thinking these are the Illuminati, thinking these are a new world order. No, it's a very, very old and very, very unholy techniques and things that you're practicing up in Strabane, in Clonmel, in Wexford, all over the country. Really, it's spread just like it spread before, except with modern communications. You have terrible, terrible, grunty, horrible people are the ones doing this, and they all think that they've got positions of privy in life now, and that they're all champions and knights and princes. And no, it's there's famine, war, and gripping the entire world. It's like famine, and we're calling it cost of living. There's famine and war gripping the entire world, and there's soon to be death as well. And Ireland no longer has its holy, high and holy preference of the Lord. Yous have fallen into absolute scarletry and infidelity, and yous will be easily, quite easily and effectively, wiped off the face of the earth like Cromwell did. Yeah, Cromwell. So well done, Paddy, and Sinn Féin, because these are little Cromwellian merchants now, and yours are loyalists, like I said in my other video just below, loyalists to a foreign regime which have conquered your country. And you're supposed to do the exact opposite, aren't you? You're supposed to protect Ireland from foreign conquestors, and you're supposed to not like loyalists because they took positions of privy to their foreign regimes, and you have taken positions of privy to your foreign regimes. Judge not let you be judged, You went around judging people, and now the exact same fucking criticism has been brought upon the IRA and Sinn Féin and our government and other people, and they just did the exact same thing that they said all the traitors of Ireland did back then, and they're the exact same. They just lacking the objective considerations of the situations to see where they are in themselves. Looking down on, I had to remove that video that I made on Saint Toto got a dream last night, and I was told it's causing too much problems. I can't actually teach. It turns out people don't deserve to teach. And like I said, the people that are taking my teachings don't actually take it on board, but they teach